Welcome back to the Hearing Club. I have just received 4 over-the-counter hearing aids that I'm going to be reviewing. I'm so excited. You guys should be excited too, because there's a lot of them out there and it's probably pretty tough to find one and know that you're not paying too much for it, and just, oh my God. How about I stick to the script? Let me go grab my script, okay? By the way, today we're going to be reviewing an over-the-counter hearing aid. That's right. Today we're going to be reviewing an OTC hearing aid by Linner OTC. And OTC means over-the-counter for anybody that didn't know. This hearing aid is called the Mercury, and it is the latest over-the-counter hearing aid from Linner OTC. But before I go on about this hearing aid, let me just tell you guys a couple things really quick. First of all, searching for the right over-the-counter hearing aid can be a really daunting endeavor. Over-the-counter hearing aids are still brand new. This whole OTC hearing aid thing is still in its infancy. They've only been out for about a year now, and there's just so many products out there. There's so many options out there. How do you know which one to pick? How do you know if you're getting a good one, a cheap one? How do you know you're not overpaying? That's where I come in. And I actually made an over-the-counter hearing aid buying guide that you guys should check out. And in that video, I talk about this new system I'm going to be using. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep these reviews consistent across all the OTC reviews I make. And I want to stress that I'm trying to keep these as objective as possible. I just want to give you folks the facts, how the hearing aids work, what features they have, and just, keep it factual and objective. And like I said before, we're going to be reviewing the Mercury by Linner OTC. So this is going to be the first over-the-counter hearing aid review where I'm going to be using my new system that I've developed called the Prescription Hearing Aid Feature Chart. Because as I was trying to figure out how I'm going to do all this and how I'm going to keep everything streamlined and, which features should I talk about, what's the most important, I realized I had an epiphany, and it's all in the video, the over-the-counter hearing aid guide. And I realized that what you want to do, or what I would do if I was in the market for an over-the-counter hearing aid, is I would try to find one that had the most prescription hearing aid features, but in an over-the-counter hearing aid and at a affordable price. That's what we're going to be doing. So far, the nicest over-the-counter hearing aid that I've reviewed, the one that is closest to a prescription hearing aid that I've seen so far, is the Jabra Enhance Plus, their OTC hearing aid. So we're going to be using that as a reference and kind of comparing it, to these Mercury hearing aids. Now, I want you guys' feedback. I want to know what you guys think about this new format and this new system that I'm using to kind of rate these hearing aids. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you guys like it. I think you will. If you guys want to see a more detailed look at the prescription hearing aid feature, rating system that I've developed and how it's going to be used, how I came up with it, why I came up with it, check out the video and you guys will get a better understanding of everything. I think you're going to love it. Now, enough rambling and waffle. Let's get into it and let's dive in to Linner OTC's hearing aid, the Mercury. This is an RIC hearing aid. RIC stands for receiver in the canal, also known as an RIE, receiver in the ear. It's a type of BTE. Is that enough acronyms for you guys? BTE, RIC, RIE. Yeah, I thought you'd like that. Anyway, it actually goes behind your ear, but instead of a thin tube or a thick tube, it's actually an electrical receiver. You've got an electric wire, and then you have the receiver or speaker on the end. All the processing and the CPU and the chip and everything is in the housing of the hearing aid, and then the sound gets delivered through this electric wire to the receiver or the speaker. With prescription hearing aids, once the receiver goes bad, and they will, you can just replace it. You take it into the office and they will put a new receiver on. With these less expensive over-the-counter RICs, the receiver is not replaceable. It is molded in place. Now, that does present a problem because usually with prescription hearing aids, the receiver is the first part to fail, but with prescription hearing aids, you just take it to the office and they pop a new one on there. No big deal. But with an RIC like this, they are not replaceable. But that's also why you're paying a lot less money for these things. So I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm not saying don't buy over-the-counter RICs. I'm just saying be very aware of this. You may be replacing these things after a year or two because the receiver will eventually die. But this is something you're going to find in almost all of your over-the-counter RICs that are at this type of a price point. Now, I'm not docking any points from this hearing aid. I'm not saying this is a bad hearing aid, just something to be aware of when shopping for any over-the-counter hearing aid at a price point like $300. This hearing aid is $300. You can get it on Amazon. There's going to be a link for it in the description. And I'll tell you what, when I first opened the case, right off the bat, I noticed that it definitely doesn't look like a $300 hearing aid. It looks like a more expensive prescription RIC. It's actually pretty nice and doesn't feel cheap. That's, like I said, one of the first things I noticed. It's a rechargeable hearing aid. It doesn't have Bluetooth. It doesn't have hands-free. It doesn't have an app. It's not programmable based on your hearing loss. So it is definitely in the category of the less expensive OTC hearing aids. It's not super fancy, it's not super advanced, but it does have some pretty nice features that we're going to talk about. After we talk about the features and the basics of the hearing aids, then we're going to use this chart that I've come up with to see just how close it is to a prescription hearing aid. So the actual charging case has a built-in battery, and although this feature is found in a lot of over-the-counter hearing aids, it's really a nice feature because there's some prescription hearing aids for thousands of dollars that don't come with this nice portable charger. You have to pay extra, like an extra $200 to $300 sometimes for the nice premium portable charger. So this one comes with it. This is standard with the hearing aid. They advertise this as lasting 20 hours on a single charge, so it's going to get you through the entire day on a single charge. But you got to remember, everybody has different levels of hearing loss. If you have a super mild hearing loss like mine, you're going to get more usage out of the hearing aid. If you have a moderate to severe hearing loss, it's probably not going to last that full 20 hours, so just keep that in mind. The hearing aid comes with two different types of domes. You've got your power domes, which are the default domes that they deliver it with. Those are your more occluding domes. They are meant to seal up your ear, and this will allow you to get much more volume without getting feedback. But you're going to get that occlusion effect where you can really hear your own voice. It bothers a lot of people. But if you have a really mild loss, you can use the other style of dome, which are the tulips. And it's like the tulip is right in the middle between open and your closed dome. So it's kind of like a hybrid. You're not going to get as much of the occlusion effect, but if you start turning up that volume, you're going to start getting some feedback. So when using these hearing aids, if you use the tulip style domes and you're getting feedback, as you turn up that volume, you're going to need to switch to the power domes. And the one thing I like about these is I was able to crank up the volume to the maximum and there was no feedback, but I had to use those power domes. To charge these things, you just pop them in the charger, the light's going to turn on, and it will let you know that it's charging and that there's still power in the case. They didn't say how many times this case will charge your hearing aids if it has a full charge. But, if you have the case with you and the hearing aids start dying and you get that low battery indicator, you could just pop them in here really quick and get a quick charge. And this is USB-C. I imagine most of your new hearing aids coming out are going to be USB-C, which is the faster charging. I think micro USB is a thing of the past now. Now, let's talk about some of the advertised features that these have. So number one, these have an aesthetic and ergonomic design. And you can get them in both the champagne color like this and deep aqua. So I've seen prescription hearing aids that look and feel cheaper than these do. Again, right out of the box, it actually surprised me how nice these feel. And once you find the right size dome, they actually feel pretty nice too. They have 16 processing channels for advanced sound clarity and speech understanding. Now, you guys know me and how I feel about processing channels. I personally don't take the amount of processing channels into consideration when looking at and reviewing a hearing aid. What I look for personally is how many adjustment channels or adjustment bands the hearing aid has so that I can have adequate options for programming the hearing aids to the patient's audiogram. The more complex or steeply sloping hearing loss is going to require more adjustment bands to accurately program those hearing aids. And since these hearing aids are not programmable, it doesn't even really apply here. They're also advertised to have an echo shield and are echo free to help stay focused via the active feedback control. Now, I gotta say, these hearing aids actually provide a pretty impressive amount of amplification with zero feedback. Again, you have to use the power domes to fully occlude your ears, but if you use those, I experienced no feedback at all with the volume at the maximum amount, which so far I haven't found a hearing aid that's able to do that. That is an over-the-counter hearing aid. But again, when using these power domes, you are going to have more of an occlusion effect. You're going to hear your voice a lot more. Again, it bothers a lot of people, but this is to be expected, and this is perfectly acceptable for somebody that requires more amplification. This is something you're going to experience when you need that extra amplification. So I'm not docking any points for that. That is completely normal and acceptable. They also do have some noise cancellation. It's not perfect, but it actually does help. When standing right next to my AC, the sound of the AC was significantly reduced. And actually, much to my surprise, I had my buddy Johnny, who's been wearing hearing aids for 25 years, and he has a severe to profound hearing loss. And I had him put these in his ears, and he said these actually work enough for him to sit right next to the AC and have a conversation with me, and had no trouble understanding me whatsoever. This is his audiogram, and I'm not saying that everybody with this type of audiogram or this level of hearing loss is going to be able to use these, but it totally caught me off guard. I was not expecting these over-the-counter hearing aids to be able to actually work for him. And again, they're not perfect, but he was actually able to have a conversation with me without struggling, with the air conditioner on, and that to me says a lot. I've been dealing with hearing aids for a very long time, and this just really surprised me. Now, I want to talk about the IP rating of these hearing aids. This is one thing, and I'm going to contact them and have them either correct it on the website or correct it in the booklet. But these are advertised on Amazon as having an IPX5 IP rating or durability rating. If you guys aren't familiar with the IP rating, I'm going to have a chart that shows you what all the different numbers mean. IPX5, the X is like a placeholder. There's no designation for the dirt and the dust and the debris. And the second digit, the 5 in the IPX5, the 5 is for liquid. A 5 is actually a pretty decent number for water resistance and waterproofing, but in the booklet, it actually says that these are IP22 rated, which is a very low IP rating. So if the booklet's correct, these are not very durable. You've got to really be careful. You don't want to get them wet at all. If you do get them wet, put them in a dryer, put them in a cup of rice, and hopefully it won't ruin the hearing aids. But just because it has a really low IP rating doesn't make these bad hearing aids. They are $300 hearing aids. They are your less expensive hearing aids. So this is to be expected. I would be very surprised to see a $200 or $300 OTC hearing aid have a high IP rating. So I'm not docking any points for that. I just wanted to point out this incorrect fact, or just miscommunicated fact. They need to figure that out. Another key feature that they wanted to point out is the fact that these have a portable charger and that they can be charged on the go. Another feature that they advertise is that they're really discreet, and more discreet than your traditional hearing aids. And I gotta say, they really did deliver on this one. This is what they look like when Johnny was wearing them. They are really hard to see. They blend in very well. And most of your RIC hearing aids do blend in very well, and these are no exception. They definitely delivered on this one. They also have 3 different listening modes, or what I call 3 different programs. It's nice to see different programs in an over-the-counter hearing aid. These 3 different programs are as follows. Program 1 is your natural or normal listening mode. Program 2 is the noise reduction mode. So if you are in a place with a lot of noise, a lot of background noise, you can try switching it over into the noise mode. And I noticed a little bit of reduction. Basically, kind of drops some of that low-end sound out, because that's where a lot of your background noise is. And it did help a little bit. It wasn't super impressive, but I did notice a little bit of a difference. And then the third program is called feedback suppression. Now, this program I did not find very helpful. I put the tulip domes in and I cranked up the volume where I started getting feedback, and then I switched it over to the third program, the feedback suppression mode, and the amount of feedback didn't change at all. So you're really only going to use programs 1 or 2. Now, the third program might help you understand better or hear better based off your hearing loss. It is nice to have 3 or 4 different programs. So what I tell people, and this is what I tell all my patients, it doesn't matter if your programs are TV, music, movie or theater, just cycle through the different programs and just see if one sounds better than the other for whatever situation you're in. Again, these are just extra tools, and it's nice to see them in an OTC hearing aid. You can switch to these different programs by holding the up or the down volume buttons for about 3 or 4 seconds. You just hold it down, what I call a long press, and you'll hear either 1, 2, or 3 beeps. 1 beep means you're in the first program, 2 beeps means you're in the second, so on and so forth. And you can cycle up or down, again, by just holding the volume buttons. And it has 9 different volume settings, and you're going to use the same buttons to go up or down in volume. You just do a quick press on the up button to go up and a quick press on the down button to go down. These are OTC hearing aids, so they don't talk to each other. So you have individual volume adjustments for each hearing aid. The right hearing aid controls only the right, and the left hearing aid controls only the left. And then lastly, here is the fitting range that they show. And you can look at this and then compare it to your audiogram to see if your audiogram fits within this shaded area or colored area. This is what the hearing aids can handle. Now, I want to mention again that Johnny's hearing loss is much worse than these hearing aids can handle, but he was still able to utilize these hearing aids. I don't know how well they would do, all day long, but for the 20 or so minutes that he was wearing them, again, we could hold a conversation perfectly fine without him struggling. And again, for me, that is pretty impressive. And I got to give them, big time props for that. This really surprised me a lot. Now, those are the features that are advertised on the website, the features that they wanted to really show everybody and showcase with these hearing aids. Now I want to take a look at my prescription hearing aid feature chart and compare these hearing aids to prescription hearing aids and see how they score and how close they are to prescription hearing aids. These features are in all prescription hearing aids, but these features are not in all over-the-counter hearing aids. So the way this works is I found 7 prescription hearing aid features, and they're ranked in priority from most important to least important. And these features are, at the top, are they programmable to your hearing loss? Are they programmable based on your audiogram? The second one is wax filters. Do these hearing aids have wax filters? That is a feature in all prescription hearing aids, but not all over-the-counter hearing aids. The warranty and trial period. How good of a warranty and trial period do these have? Generally, with over-the-counter hearing aids, you don't get a great one, but with prescription hearing aids, it's usually a pretty good warranty and trial period. Number 4 on the chart is durability. What kind of IP rating do these have? With prescription hearing aids, you have an IP rating of 68, which is very high and very durable. Over-the-counter hearing aids are going to have a much lower IP rating and lower durability rating. And the number 5 is an app. Do these over-the-counter hearing aids have an app? Apps are found in all prescription hearing aids to different degrees, but does this OTC hearing aid have an app? And then last is programs. Do these hearing aids offer programs? Prescription hearing aids do, but not all over-the-counter hearing aids do. And basically for each one of these features that the over-the-counter hearing aid has, it will receive 1 point. The more points it has, the closer it is to a prescription hearing aid. And in my book, that means it's a better, more advanced hearing aid. And like I said, when you're looking for an OTC hearing aid, if I was looking to buy an OTC hearing aid, I would try to find one with as many of these features as I could, and then still pay a pretty decent price or a pretty affordable price. Let's look at the Jabra Enhance Plus as an example. This is a very expensive OTC hearing aid at $800. And it scored a 5.5 out of 7, meaning it's pretty close to a prescription hearing aid. In the prescription hearing aid in the chart, it got a 1 for programming because the Jabra OTCs are programmed based off of your audiogram. For wax filters, it got a 0 because it does not have wax filters. If it had wax filters, it would be hands down probably one of the best OTC hearing aids out there, in my opinion. For the warranty and trial period, it scored a 1. I gave it a point for that because it had a 1-year warranty and it had a pretty decent trial period. I think it was like 45 days or something. For durability, the Jabra OTC got a 0.5 because it has an IP rating of 53. It's not the best in the industry, but it is definitely better than a 22. And then for Bluetooth and hands-free, if it only had Bluetooth but no hands-free, I might give it a 0.5 point. but it has both Bluetooth and hands-free, so it got a full point for that. The Jabra OTC has an app, so it got the point for that. And then it also has programs, so it got a point for that. The last category is a bonus category. And guys, I might update this and make it a little better. For now, this is the beta version, so bear with me. But if there's any OTC hearing aids out there that come in both a rechargeable version and a regular battery operated version where you actually replace the batteries, I would give it an extra bonus point because that is amazing. I think every hearing aid in the world should come in two options, rechargeable and battery. Some people don't want rechargeable since that battery will start lasting less and less and less until it's not usable. And also, some people need to have 24/7 uptime with their hearing aids. With the rechargeable hearing aid, you do not have that option. With batteries, as soon as that hearing aid's dead, you could pop a new battery in right away and keep going. So the Jabra didn't have that, so it didn't get that bonus point. So it came in at a 5.5 out of 7. That is a really good score, but you're paying $800, so you are paying for those points. Now, of course, after I made the over-the-counter hearing aid buying guide, I thought of this great idea. This is going to help us when deciding if it's overpriced or if it's fairly priced. So I came up with price per point. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the total price of the hearing aid. So for the Jabra, it would be $800, and we're going to divide that by the amount of points it has to figure out how much you're paying per point. And that's going to give you your price per point. So if we take $800 and divide that by 5.5 points, you get 145. So basically you're paying $145 per prescription hearing aid feature or per point. Again, the more over-the-counter hearing aids I review, the more data that we're going to have, and we will start to see and we'll start to realize, how much should you really be paying per point? Are there going to be hearing aids out there where you're paying, $50 per point or, $200 per point? If we look at the Jabra Enhanced Pro 10, this is a top of the line premium technology prescription hearing aid with 8 out of the 7 features. So it gets that bonus point because you can get that in both rechargeable or the 312 battery. So this is a $1,600 hearing aid, and if you divide that by 8 points or 8 features, you're getting $200 per point or per feature. Now let's take a look at the Mercury. So the Mercury is not a programmable hearing aid, so it gets 0 points for that. It does, however, have wax guards, which is great. You guys know how important wax guards are to me. If you don't have wax guards, you don't have a way to ensure that wax isn't going to get down there and ruin the hearing aid. Once it gets down there far enough, there's nothing you could do about it. So these do have wax guards, so they got 1 big point for that. As far as the warranty goes, they come with a 1-year warranty, so that's pretty good. That's better than no warranty or a 6-month warranty. And they also have a 30-day trial, so it gets 1 point for that. For the durability, these are IP22. These are rated as an IP22, which is very, very low. So I didn't give it any points for durability. The next category is apps. And when it comes to the app, these hearing aids do not have an app, so it got 0 points for that. And as far as programs, these hearing aids do have programs, so I gave it 1 point. And then of course, these do not come with a rechargeable or battery operated version. You can only get the rechargeable version, so it did not get the bonus point. So this hearing aid is rated at a 3 out of 7. And if you take the price of $300 and divide that by the 3 points, you are at a $100 price per point or $100 per prescription feature. Is this a fair price? I'd say as of now, since I've only done a few over-the-counter hearing aid reviews, but as I do more, we will find out more and more, what these different hearing aids have to offer and what kind of price per points we're looking at. But as of right now, I'd say, yeah, it's pretty fair. As you can see, these are nowhere near a prescription hearing aid, but that doesn't mean it's a bad hearing aid. I have not seen a $300 OTC hearing aid that comes anywhere close to a prescription hearing aid. I'm sure I'll uncover one as I'm doing more reviews, but so far I haven't seen it yet. So again, these are not a bad hearing aid. They're just in the less expensive category, and you're not going to have as many prescription hearing aid features. The things that I like about these hearing aids are the amount of amplification for the price. They offer plenty of amplification, and if you have a mild to moderate hearing loss, this should definitely work for you. And then another thing I like is the quality. They don't feel like a cheap hearing aid, which again, really surprised me. They feel pretty sturdy. They look nice. And when wearing them, they fit fine as long as you find a dome that's going to work for you. And then one of the biggest things I like about these are they have wax filters, and you could buy extra wax filters, so you don't have to worry about wax ruining your hearing aid. When it comes to the sound quality, these are nowhere near the sound quality you're going to get with a prescription hearing aid. They don't sound quite as good as the Jabra Enhanced Plus. Again, you're paying $300, so I'm not expecting anything amazing in that front. But as far as helping you understand speech, especially when there's noise present, they actually did a really decent job. But do not buy these expecting superior sound quality like that of a prescription hearing aid, because you're not going to get it. As far as things I don't like the fact that they don't have an app, they don't have Bluetooth, they're not programmable, but I can't really say anything too negative about that because these are not an expensive hearing aid. At this price range, none of that stuff is expected. Again, I'm sure there's going to be other hearing aids out there that might have more prescription features at this price point. I haven't found any yet, but that doesn't mean there's none out there. These are not bad hearing aids for $300. I did a review on the Go Primes. Those are actually the first over-the-counter hearing aids I've ever reviewed. They're probably one of the first sets of OTC hearing aids out there. And these, compared to those, I would say these feel much more higher quality. So I would say if you want to try an entry-level OTC hearing aid, go ahead and give these a shot. And if they don't work, you have 30 days to return them and you'll get a full refund. Amazon has a great return policy. I've never had any issues with it so far, but that's my experience. If you guys want to try these out, there will be a link in the description. And if you do get these and you do try them out, I would love it if you guys came back, left a comment, and let me know what you guys thought of them. I will be wearing these hearing aids from time to time, and if I find anything out along the way, like if they don't hold up very well, or they don't last very long, or the battery starts, losing its capacity really fast, I will either make another video or I will update the description in this video, so you can come back and check the description, and I'll put the updates right at the top, if I find out anything negative about these, and I'll keep you guys posted. I wanted to remind you guys that we're going to be doing a Hearing Club channel membership. So if you want to become a member, it's going to be $3 or $4 when we roll this out. I want to keep it, as cheap as possible. And this is a way for you guys to support the channel. You can still, donate through PayPal. I appreciate every single one of you guys who have donated so far. It helps keep the channel going. And, one day I hope to be able to do more videos, work maybe part-time so I could do this full-time, so I can keep educating you guys about hearing aids and all this fun stuff. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to George. He donated $20. Thank you so much, George. Much appreciated, sir. And then Brian, he also donated $5 through PayPal. Thank you so much, Brian. Much appreciated. My man Scott, he's actually one of my patients that I'm fitting. Scott, thank you so much, man. And I'm glad you are enjoying the channel. Craig donated also. Thank you so much, Craig. And Electronics. Thank you guys all for your donations. It really means a lot. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. We're also going to be doing the Hearing Club channel membership. So if you want to sign up as a member, it's going to be either $3 or $4. I haven't decided yet. We'll probably just go with like $3, and it would be a huge contribution. If you don't want to do the PayPal thing, you could just sign up as a member. It's going to be $3 or $4 a month. And what you're going to get with that membership, I'm going to try to think of more things to add as a perk for being a member, but you're going to get a shout out in the videos. You'll get some sneak peeks at upcoming videos that I'm working on. Stuff that other people won't see until the video actually comes out, so you'll be able to see stuff that I'm working on. And we might figure out some other things to do, maybe some bloopers or something. I don't know, but the main thing is it would be supporting the channel. So just want to let you guys know. And if you need help searching for an over-the-counter hearing aid, don't know where to start, there's so many options, be sure to check out the over-the-counter hearing aid buying guide that I made, and that should help you out significantly. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for your support, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Let's get hearing.